is a heavy blue. Want to love and want to lose. Sweet divine, a heavy truth. Water and wine, don't make me choose. I wanna feel the way that we did that summer night. Drunk on a feeling, alone with the stars in the sky. I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you, to get to you. I've been down with that desire, on the dark side of the moon to get to you, to get to you. I'm with the love with every stranger, took too much easy, and all for you, yeah, all for you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you, to get to you, to get to you. Your fingertips trace my skin to places I've never been. Blindly I am following. Break down these walls and come on in. I wanna feel the way that we did that summer night. Drunk on a feeling, alone with the stars in the sky. I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you, to get to you. I've been down with that desire, on the dark side of the moon to get to you, to get to you. I'm with the love with every stranger, took too much easy, and all for you, yeah, all for you. I've been running through the jungle, I've been crying with the wolves to get to you, to get to you, to get to you.
Alright, I'm currently in Sacramento. I'm journaling, and a lot of stuff is coming up. True stuff. Now, my question is, do I send the letters when I discover the truth to the person that I have this insight about? Do I let them know the truth that I discovered in them? And that's just been what's in my heart. It's in conflict right now. There's a part of me that says, no, this is just for you, for your insight, for your benefit. But then I thought about my relationship with Joey, and he provided so much insight about me, telling me what he thinks that I was doing, what he thinks the diagnosis was. Sure, mind you, it's probably not the right diagnosis, but it's a clue towards something that's pathological. And so that helped me. The space that we have been apart has helped me tremendously in becoming more self-aware. And that's the first part of freedom. That's the first part in the path to freedom, is being self-aware. I'm not going to project, push, or dismiss anymore. I'm going to embrace, stand for, and invite love with no attachments. Just love. Can I really pull this off? Universe, can I really get our journals inside all the bookstores? Yes. Can I serialize and anthologize these journals? Yes. Can I make this movement a global phenomenon? Yes. Can I break my heart open to the one whom I love? Yes. Can I create my own love story while creating the love story for everyone else? Yes. But it's overwhelming. And yes. But it's too big for me to do on my own. And yes. But I'm just one person. And yes. But he told me to leave him alone. And yes. But how? What came to me
from my inner core is Matthew 17:20, mustard seed. I realize I cannot project my possibility on other people. It takes way too much energy to convince another person to do it the way that I want to do it. Instead, I could be expending that energy on figuring out how to do it myself. And if people want to follow down the line, they may. Like Forrest Gump and his running. He just did it because he wanted to do it. And if they don't push, demand, or insist that this is the way for them. No, this is your way. This is your way. You're paving the way. Todd, my friend and business confidant, told me to ground myself. It's not projection, it's about attraction. It's not imposing on other people, but being the space where people want to come and play. Tapping into my ancient ancestors for the divine wisdom of how to move energy with flow while going upstream like salmon. Last night, I called one of the former Love Story creatives who helped with production. He said that I was pushy, demanding, self-centered, and manipulative. And then he also stated that I am inspiring, generous, and I pushed him to do something he wouldn't have taken seriously, but I stood for him to do it. I pushed him towards journalism. He considers me to be one of his real friends, among so far and few between in this lonely world. I don't like people, he confided. I agree with him. I don't like people either. And yet, we all are people, aren't we? You don't have to like a person to love them. You can choose love at any given time. It's a choice. You gotta go there, in the heart of darkness, he said, and you gotta look into your own demon, into the eyes of. And when he said that, I thought about Joseph Campbell's Going into the Abyss. Are you ready? He said. I had to sit there for months on my own, he continued, and I meditated and I faced myself. I had to accept that I am capable of doing horrible things. And I had to tell myself that I'm a piece of shit because I am. And when I said it enough times, I realized it had less of a stronghold on me. When he said that, all my inner spirit was saying was, yes, preach, truth. Show yourself, he tells me. Show how fucked up you really are. And then, only then, can you truly begin owning your love story? You didn't know how much I needed to hear that, I told him. It was divine timing. 2014. I was getting a crew together. I told them I was starting the Love Story magazine. It's about letting go. It's about normalizing the experience of pain, but I had no real words around it because I had no real experience of transforming pain into passion. I was just on my journey. Until I started interviewing the artists, until Wade and many others started dedicating their time and talent to this project, it was just an idea. I started taking classes at SMC just so I could secure the library for meetings. Then I broke my heart open to my dad, who funded the first $20,000 for this project. I used the money on offices, for web developers, for production, only to realize I had no real business plan. How the fuck was the money supposed to come in, and how was I supposed to provide for myself? And on top of that, I'm at an age where I need to be contributing to my parents. Fuck it, I'll figure it out as I go, I tell myself. This was my therapy, but really, I wasn't taking this seriously, along with my therapy, and people knew that, and so they moved on, and I made it mean that I wasn't good enough, that this wasn't good enough, that they were not good enough, and it was a burden. And then I got bitter, and when people started leaving, I got resentful. It triggered old wounds, abandonment, or so the illusion goes, and I made them all wrong. I had so much rage and frustration. My body felt like it was burning up in acid, and I ate flaming hot Cheetos, kombucha, and drank alcohol to match that rage, mostly all acidic, like sulfuric acid, like my first psychosis when I was burning. Being gurneyed into the ambulance, not knowing where I was, somewhere between this reality and the reality of hell. It was a sulfuric acid, and I felt it in the bones burning in my soul. And I compared myself to others, always focusing on how other people were doing it better than I. Comparing my publication to already established publications and feeling defeated before I even began. And that mentality was a losing battle. I accept now that people will hate me for telling the truth, the ugly truth of myself and of them. People want to run away. They don't want to hear it because it's too much. They got too much shit that they've buried, that they do not want to dig up, and they run like hamsters on a hamster wheel. But at the end of the day, it's still love. I believe what my dad did for me, telling me the truth on those moments where I didn't want to hear it, but it was much needed. That was his love for me. And it's not for his benefit, but for mine. That's why I know my dad loves me. And of course, I'm too stubborn to let him know that I love him back. And when I shirk from the truth, I discover that I also feel shrunken. When I turn a willful blind eye, I feel shrunken. When I withhold the truth from people, I feel smaller. I know now that if I can keep my heart from sinking to the depths of sorrow, and if I could keep my heart breaking open, always open instead of hardened, instead of closed, but open, just keep breaking it open, then the enemy has already lost. I finally finished the audiobook, George Orwell's 1984. At the very end of the chapter, it was about the heart. The lesson learned is that Big Brother loses if you keep your spirit. At the last breath, if you keep your spirit, if you hold even an inkling of love present, you win.
It's hell on earth, and the city's on fire. In hell, it's hell, there's heaven. There's a moon and a matador dueling in the sky. In hell, it's hell, there's heaven. if it gets real loud.